Fast fashion brands have tricked their customers into thinking that now, after many struggles, workers making their clothes in least developed and developing countries are earning well by increasing their salaries. The increase of a salary is a good thing. It is always a good thing, right? Not in this case. This salary is barely enough to make ends meet. What is the reason behind the establishing in these countries of a minimum wage that is higher than what they used to earn, the workers, which, however, will not even allow these workers to indulge in a small extra cost, such as a ticket to the movies? Hello everyone, this is Asel Sorbekova, your guide to understanding matters of sustainable development and fast fashion the legal way. So in case if you want to know the answer to this question, stay tuned as I have the answer for you. But before we proceed, make sure to do two things. First, subscribe to my channel, and second, smash the like button. The issue in this situation is related to the term called a minimum wage. So how should we understand this term? According to the International Labor Organization, a minimum wage is a minimum salary required to be paid by the employer. So that is, if you want to know in simpler words, it's a benchmark which cannot be descended. Of course, the employers can pay more than this amount, but the set amount, but they cannot go less than that. And in the international law, there are two international conventions that guarantee, not that they would guarantee, but that they would require from the states members that have ratified these two instruments to ensure that they will have set up a policy that would require a minimum wage for its citizens. Now, let's look at some of the countries that produce fast fashion clothes. One of the biggest producers, such as China, Turkey, Bangladesh, Cambodia, and since very recently, Ethiopia. Ethiopia is not the biggest one, but it's catching up because of its lowest salary in the field of the fast fashion clothes production. So the minimum wage payment requirement that is practiced in China is pretty much not at the same level, meaning that according to provinces, different provinces, we can distinguish various types of degrees of salaries. Basically, they are pretty much within the same range, like 280 to 315-ish US dollars per month. So let's have a look at two provinces of China to see what we're talking about. What is the difference between some of them? We can consider a salary in Guangdong province in China, where a minimum wage is set to 315 US dollars per month. It's a region that apparently is known for the production of underwear garments. And the second one is Jiangsu province, a province known for production of linen fabric, where a minimum wage is 289-ish US dollars per month. And you know what? This salary is not enough to live a decent life in China. For example, my sister used to live in China for studies for 6 years, first 3 years, then another 3 years later on. So just a couple of days ago, when I was actually asking for information for about Chinese salaries and whether it would be enough for somebody to work and earn around 300 US dollars per month to live in that province where she used to study, in Guangdong province. She told me that, well, if somebody is very frugal, if that person is going to rent a small studio and is going to cook at home, Probably she can allow a couple of going outs like restaurants and stuff. But generally speaking, for 500 US dollars, you can just get by as a single person living in China in the Guangdong province. But 315 US dollars, it's not a good salary. And this information, which I found in one of the like expat advisor, trip advisor type of websites, the link is down below anyways. They say that someone very frugal will be able to spend around 4,000 yuan, which would be 400, 500 US dollars. So that's only just to like to survive, yes, to be very frugal and to not be able to do more than what is necessary to eat, to live in a small place and stuff like that. You know what I mean. Let's talk about Turkey. In Turkey, it seems that workers, they earn specifically in the fast fashion industry, they work and earn around 333 US dollars, which would be 2,324 Turkish liras, which again is not enough. It's a minimum wage, yes, fine, perfect, but the living expenses in Turkey are much more expensive. And if you've been to Turkey, you could know, right? And I actually have some acquaintances that used to work in, a couple of them still actually continues working and coming back as for temporary jobs. Postings. So they would be earning around 500 and sharing a room, sharing utility expenses and stuff like that, being really frugal, not eating out, cooking at home and stuff. So, and then they, if they manage, they can save around 200 US dollars, again, if they manage. And the list goes on. So you can see here information on Kenya, Cambodia, Bangladesh, where the salaries are way lower than the salaries that I just mentioned before regarding Chinese minimum wages and Turkish minimum wage per month. And regarding all of these countries, the reasoning behind is that their minimum wages that are paid in the fast fashion industry, they are barely enough. They do not correspond to the real expenses. The real expenses are here, and the real salaries that are being paid is right here. So they would be the real salaries twice or three times lower than what need to be paid to them. With regard to their housing, their rent, would these workers be expected to be living in a shared apartment or room or even shared room? Because clearly their salaries are 2 or 3 times lower than what they would need to be getting. And I guess, this is how it goes, that they all they share these housings and they just cannot afford themselves more. So I just said that the minimum wages do not correspond to the living standards in those countries. And what am I talking about? I'm actually talking about a term which is called a living wage. A living wage describes the adequate living standard. The common goal of the many living wage campaigns currently taking place in the world is to upgrade the minimum wages levels to those of the living wages. According to the Clean Clothes campaign, your living wage should be enough to cover the following expenses: housing, rent, medical expenses, insurance, education, clothing, transportation, and at the end of the day, you should be able to save. But if you have a salary like in Ethiopia, 26 US dollars per month, what kind of savings are you talking about? It is impossible to save even 5%. In circumstances when rent has gone up high because of the fact that the country has started to attract these fast fashion brands, and the landlords, they just, they just went with the flow and they took advantage of the situation. In other words, to me, at least in my understanding, the living wage is a simple way to describe what is a human right to just and favorable remuneration of work, a human right that is guaranteed by these international instruments. And now here's your answer to the question of the day, which is, why is the minimum wage not in conformity with the expected living wage, with the actual costs of the living in the given countries? Fast fashion as a business concept thrives from outsourcing products from countries where labor is not only cheap, but does not meet the local standards of living. What happens is that governments of these countries set these baseline salaries to purposefully attract foreign direct investors and international traders by pursuing race to the bottom policies, which result at lowest wages that can be paid. As an example, look at these countries like Bangladesh, Ethiopia, and others, or for example, the countries in Eastern Europe, Romania, Ukraine, and others. I have made videos specifically on Bangladesh as one video, separate video, and another one on Ethiopia. So if you're interested, the links are down below. Therefore, the reality is that minimum wages do not match the living wages, and the question remains, which is whether these salaries that fast fashion workers are getting will stagnate, and it will take years for the situations to improve, because the real problem is with paying salaries that do not match living expenses, paying salaries that are 2 or 3 times less than the expected salaries. A pressure needs to be put not only on fast fashion brands, but the governments of these countries which legalize the world's lowest minimum wages. That's all for today. For videos on fast fashion and matters of sustainable development, subscribe to my channel. And join me on my channel every Sunday at 10 a.m. CT, where I will post videos on fast fashion and sustainable development. And before you leave and go about your business, please do 2 things. Smash the like button and leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye!